What's up, everyone? We're back on another video, and as you can tell by the thumbnail, we are going to be doing a how-to DIY TGV deletes to try to stay Green Speed compliant. And we're going to show you that later in this video, but first, we have a few things that we're going to take care of. So we're going to finish putting back more of the things on the EJ255 that's going into the Saab, Jake Saab, I should say. And we also have a buddy of mine with an STI coming over. He's doing an AOS install, new wheels, and an oil change. He'll be coming in around like 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's 1 o'clock right now, so in the next 3 hours. So for now, we're going to start putting back as much as we can. Jake is on his way to the store to grab a thermostat, and he's also grabbing a hose so that we can do a little cleaner assembly of this tube here for the oil cooler. But for now, let's start putting some stuff back together. So actually, hold that thought. So we decided that we wanted to do TGV deletes on this. We already had the idea of it, but we didn't think about it prior to recording the video. So here I am. I'm just disassembling some of the wiring components underneath the manifold that's held on with two 12mm bolts, and all of the connectors are holding it in. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking apart the fuel rails. These are held on with 12mm bolts as well, and you're going to have two on either side. That's going to hold each fuel rail on either side of the intake manifold, as well as in the front of the intake manifold you're going to have two 12mm bolts that hold the hard lines to the TGV housing, and you're going to remove that as well, as you can see in that clip. But now what I'm doing is I'm disassembling the 10mm bolts holding the fuel lines together up at the top of the rail. Once that's taken apart, right here you have some Phillips head screws that are holding on a clamp. We're going to wiggle that apart, separate the fuel rails from the actual rest of the hard line, I should say, and now we have that off. So now we can start working on taking the actual TGVs out. Those are held on with 10mm fasteners. There are going to be 4 of them on either corner. Right now I just took those apart. Jake is working on getting the inlet off. That was a 6mm Allen head bolt. Got that out of the way. Now we're moving on to the passenger side for the rest of the TGVs, getting all of that out of there. Once those are taken apart, we can actually just move it to the side and get the intake manifold out of our way so that we can actually focus on the TGV housings that we're actually working with today. Alright, welcome back, guys. So right here what we have is the TGVs, and these flaps right in here are what we are going into to take out. Once you take this out, this actually becomes fairly smooth and open for airflow. Normal TGV deletes are just one open hole all the way around, but what we're going to be doing is just removing this flap. It's kind of like the poor man's TGV delete, but we'll get everything flowing right in here while retaining the motors so that we don't throw any codes. So for now, you guys can sit back and enjoy the process. Also to mention, getting these screws out of here, although they just seem like simple Phillips, imagine that this has been sitting inside of the engine for its entire life. Getting these Phillips out of here is not easy. We're probably going to end up torching these, getting the metal really, really, really hot so that we can just spin it out of there freely, because drilling this out is a pain in the neck. So let's see if we can get this going. Nope. No. Drilled right out.
Yep. That's what I figured. Oh, one of them came out. Oh, no, it didn't.
Snapped.
Yep.
So as opposed to putting some music over this time lapse, I figured I'd explain it to you guys, since this is technically the how-to section of the process. So like previously mentioned, this can get really, really tricky to do because the metal is old, the metal hasn't been taken apart, any of that kind of stuff. But you can see here, we were able to get the other flaps from the other TGV nice and clean. The ones that we're fighting with right now are the first ones we started working with. These are universal for sides, so can't really tell if that came from the passenger or driver side to give you guys a better context. But we got all 4 flaps out. Now what we're doing is just cleaning up the mating surfaces, making sure it's ready for its gasket, and then Jake is going over it with a razor blade, nice and fine, nice and simple, trying to keep it from having any gunk in the way. As you can see now, the TGVs are in place. I'm torquing them down. Everything went down just no problem. We're waiting on these 2 gaskets to come in. So for now, we're going to be masking it off, making sure nothing falls into the port, and we can actually test fit a lot of the things. We are also going to be putting the wiring back in without compromising the ability to take the intake manifold off. So what we do is normally we detach it from the intake manifold, and once it's detached from the intake manifold, put the intake manifold back on, run the wiring underneath the turbo inlet, and then leave it alone from there so that we can still take the intake manifold out without having to take the wiring harness out. As you can see in this shot right here, the wiring is in. Alright, so you guys saw in the last clip that we got the TGVs on, we taped it off, we ran some of the wiring. Like we mentioned in the previous videos, we're addressing some of these rust patches. All of that is just surface. We were able to scrub everything off and smoothen out the surface, and we're going to apply some paint over it, get that cleaned up a little bit. The last thing we need is about a foot length of hose to connect a oil cooler, and then we can start doing cool things like getting the engine back in the engine bay. So Jake is going to continue doing what he's doing. All right, guys, it's a little later in the day now. My buddy Brandon is over here with his 2019 STI, and then we have Finn here and we have Cam here. And this here is Mr. Brandon working on doing some wheels, and then we're going to get the front up, and he's going to do an oil change. And then up here, the whole game plan for him is going to be to finish an AOS. So the other day they started doing it, Jacob and him, they're going to be covering this entire AOS install on Jake's channel. I'll link that up here. And then I'll show you guys when everything is done here, but this is his car. It's got a nice little anime wrap on the side. And we're going to get rid of these wheels. Putting on some NKs. What are these?
Kojins.
Kojins? So some NK Kojins. Oh yeah. Brandon got his new wheels on right now. All 4 corners. He's about to take the car around the block to let it settle with the suspension. And then when he comes back, we're going to put him up on those ramps right there. And we'll get his oil change done. And then they're going to get cracking on the AOS setup. Where are you going to sit? On the roof?
That's fine. That's cool. I'll hold the box. It's cool, guys.
Hey, don't go too fast because your hood is open. Yeah.
Oh wait, I want to take it. I'm gonna
What's
take
up,
it
everybody? So the engine is already as assembled as we're gonna get it. We're kind of all really just kicking it, hanging out. Jacob just finished doing the AOS with Brandon. He didn't document anything, even though I told you guys to go to his channel. Still go to his channel. He just sucks, and he's just not very good at recording sometimes. But we'll get him better, okay?
Yeah,
even though he's been doing this longer than me, we'll get him doing better than me.
I tend to just get super wrapped up in the things that we're doing. I always forget to record, and then when I do record, I'm always like, man, what should I tell them? And then I don't tell you anything.
So now y'all got no information because he slacked. So,
but it's okay. I love you all.
Yeah, but I mean, on the bright side though, Baja is back where it belongs. Brandon is getting ready to take off. He got his new wheels on. It looked absolutely sick. Let me show you guys. So there it is. That's how Brandon's car looks right now. Looks really good. Got all of that stuff taken care of. He's got heat. He's got all the wheels in here. He's getting ready to take off. But yeah, car's good. Baja's over here. She's cooling down now. And that pretty much does it on a typical Saturday in the garage, in the shop. If you guys enjoyed what we put out for you today, let us know. Give us some feedback. Even if you don't like it, let me know you don't like it. But this is a day in the life. This is a typical Saturday in the house. Always got the homies here. Always got projects going on. And we're going to document whatever we can for you guys. So for now, stay tuned. Till next time. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell thing. Do all the things, okay? Do all the things. Take care.